Hello my horror fans, welcome back to the channel and a happy New Year's Eve to you guys. Today I'm diving into the spine-chilling world of horror with my top 10 favourite horror movies of 2024, and I just gotta say 2024 has been amazing for horror. So grab your popcorn, turn off the lights and let's get started. And just, a little reminder, this is just my own personal top 10 favourite horror movies. Starting off our list at number 10, we have Heretic. Now, this movie follows two young missionaries who become involved in a deadly game of cat and mouse when they knock on the door of the diabolical Mr. Reed. Now, I found that the atmosphere in this movie is proper thick with tension, and the cinematography is simply just stunning. The director masterfully uses shadows and eerie sound effects to keep you on the edge of your seat, and of course you've got Hugh Grant, who delivers a hauntingly believable portrayal of fear and desperation, and even a little bit of comedic moments. I recently only got to watch this movie for the very first time, and I did a full review of it on this channel, so be sure to check that one out later. But honestly, I had a really good time with this one. Make sure you do check it out if you haven't already, and yeah, on to number 9. Okay, so Dead Sea. I found this film to be pretty good. I mean, the film is about a young woman and her friends who they're rescued by this fishing man after a fatal accident. However, they soon discover that the ship and the fisherman, it harbors a chilling secret, and the film literally turns into Eli Roth's Hostel, but on water. Now, the movie's strength, in my opinion, it lies in its ability to build suspense and create a sense of dread. The film also explores themes of isolation and the unknown, making it a truly immersive experience. Now, if you enjoy a fight for survival horror film where it's literally between the antagonist and the villain, then you will enjoy this one just like I did. At number 8, we have Longlegs. Set in the 1990s, Longlegs follows FBI agent Lee Harker as she investigates a series of murders in Oregon, and now the killer, known as Longlegs, leaves behind a trail of horror and mystery. And guess who plays this terrifying character? None other than Nicolas Cage. Now, Nicolas Cage, he does deliver this bone-chilling performance as Longlegs. Now, the Longlegs character is this grotesque person with a grotesque appearance that apparently scared a load of people around the world when they first saw this film, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, I didn't personally get scared by Longlegs' appearance, but I suppose everybody is different. But the cinematography in Longlegs is stunning. It does really capture the eerie beauty of the Oregon wilderness and the dark. Now, if you are a fan of psychological horror and supernatural thrillers with a few shocking twists thrown in, then this movie is pretty much a must-watch for you guys. Now, I did feel that this movie was overhyped for what it was. However, I still enjoyed it. I mean, I did kind of think, what the hell did I just watch when the credits rolled? But it was alright, it was good, and it does deserve to be in today's top 10 list. Coming in at number 7 is In a Violent Nature, a very different kind of horror that did come with mixed reviews from the horror fans. Now, this one is set in the remote wilderness of Ontario. In a Violent Nature follows a group of teenagers who are targeted by this mute killer. Now, the film is described as this ambient slasher, and it truly lives up to that description with its eerie atmosphere and relentless tensions. It's kind of like watching a PlayStation game where you're just following the killer the whole time, but it's different and it's very interesting. Of course, one of the standout scenes in this movie is that brutal yoga kill scene, which absolutely blew me away when I saw it. It really did catch me off guard, and it's just imprinted now, into my brain ever since. The yoga kill scene is a perfect example of how In a Violent Nature combines, I suppose, beautiful cinematography but with brutal horror, and I really emphasize the B in brutal. The contrast between the peaceful yoga session and the violent attack creates this jarring and memorable experience for the audience. This scene, along with the rest of the film, showcases the director's ability to create a truly terrifying experience. If you haven't watched this film yet, then I really do highly recommend that you add it to your watch list, because it is quite the unique experience. At number 6, and we have Stop Motion, which was a movie that I was very excited to see when I first saw the trailer. The film masterfully blends live action and stop motion animation, creating this surreal and, I suppose, nightmarish appearance and atmosphere on the screen. The practical effects and minimal CGI add to the authenticity of the scares, making the horror feel quite real. The cinematography is stunning. It captures the eerie beauty of the apartment building and the dark and the twisted world of the main characters. And one of the standout elements of stop motion is its exploration of the conflict between art and the artist. Because as the main character becomes more obsessed with making this stop motion film, she starts to lose her grip on reality. The movie delves into themes of creativity and madness and the lengths one will go to achieve perfection. It's a thought-provoking and disturbing journey that will leave you questioning the boundaries of art and sanity. Believe me when I say there is literally no comedy in this movie. It's very dark, so make sure you are mentally prepared before you delve into this one, but make sure you do check it out. Halfway through my lists, at number 5, we've got Late Night with the Devil. Now, this movie I thought was a massive, thrilling ride from start to finish. Set in the 1970s, the story follows a late-night talk show host who becomes entangled in a series of supernatural events. Now, the film expertly blends this horror and dark comedy together, creating this unique and entertaining experience. The period-accurate set design and costumes add to the authenticity, and the performances are fantastic, especially the lead actor, who perfectly captures the charisma and the desperation of his character. Now, I am somebody who loves all of the old school horror films, and I had a really good time with this movie, and that shock ending honestly stayed with me for some time after first watching. At number 4, we have Apartment 7A, which is a movie that really surpassed expectations for me. I wasn't expecting to enjoy this movie as much as I did. Now, the movie is set in the 1960s, and basically we follow Terry Gianfurro, I can never say the name properly, but basically Terry, a young dancer from Nebraska who moves to New York City to pursue her dreams. Now, she has this really serious ankle injury, which is super gross when it happens on screen, and then Terry becomes known as this girl who fell, and she then struggles to find work. Her life ends up taking a dark turn when she meets Alan Marchand, a Broadway producer, and she basically ends up following home back to the Bramford apartment building. And then Terry is befriended by this elderly couple, Minnie and Roman, who offer her an apartment down the hall, rent-free. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, Apartment 7A is actually this sort of prequel to the original classic Rosemary's Baby, and it does an amazing job. It's a film that you really need to go into completely blind, avoid spoilers like the plague, and just enjoy the storyline unfold that this film takes you on. There are some pretty memorable moments, and the final scene, for me, was iconic. Coming into my number 3 spot is The Substance. Oh my god. I don't think any of us were expecting to see what we ended up seeing when we first watched this one. Now, The Substance follows Elizabeth Sparkle, which is played by the amazing Demi Moore, and she's basically this fading celebrity who decides to use a black market drug to regain her youth. Now, the drug is known as The Substance, and it creates this younger version of, oneself. Now, when Elizabeth ends up taking this substance, she creates this this a better version of herself. Basically, this person called Sue, who is played by the amazing Margaret Qualley. Now, however, this transformation between Elizabeth and Sue comes with unexpected and horrifying side effects that just keep getting worse throughout the movie. Now, as Elizabeth struggles to control the effects of the substance, the line between reality and nightmare blurs. Now, the film's slow burn tension and the psychological horror really does keep you on the edge of your seat. It makes this film just on another level. It really is. Now, the cinematography is beyond stunning. It captures the grotesque beauty of Elizabeth's transformation and the dark, twisted world that she ends up finding herself in. Now, the body horror is just off the scale. There is an epic bloodbath scene in the third act. There's the mother of all brutal fight scenes at one stage, and just when you think the movie couldn't get any more brutal, it does, and it keeps going and going. I had such a horrifically good time with this film, and it is a must-watch for any horror fan out there. Just make sure you don't eat during this movie. Just missing out on my top spot at number 2 is Oddity, which is an amazing horror movie that I cannot wait to buy on Blu-ray. Now, Oddity follows Darcy, played by Emma Stone, and she ends up embarking on this quest for vengeance after her twin sister is brutally murdered at the start of the movie. Now, towards the end of this movie, there is a little bit of a cat and mouse situation, and Darcy ends up being left for dead, but she does survive for like a slight, time frame. But she ends up with this relentless desire to bring justice to those responsible. Now, she is armed with a collection of haunted items, including this really freaky wooden statue thing, and she ends up using like all of their dark powers to extract her revenge. Now, the premise for this film is so simple. It's like a classic ghost story with some serial killer elements thrown in, but it's bloody brilliant. There are quite, a few genuinely terrifying moments that will really freak you out. There were moments where my heart was literally racing, but I just couldn't stop watching. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I really think that more people need to see it, and yeah, just guys, make sure you 100% watch this movie. And finally, at my number 1 spot today, we have got Terrifier 3, which shouldn't really surprise anyone who's watching today, because this movie, it is a brutal and relentless horror that will leave you rather shocked, and maybe a few of you breathless. Maybe a few of you will be spewing as well, because this story continues to follow the infamous Art the Clown as he continues his reign of terror alongside his weird, crazy sidekick, Victoria. This film is not for the faint of heart with its graphic violence and gore. However, it also has this sort of dark sense of humor and a unique visual style that sets it apart from other horror films. The performances are fantastic, with the actor portraying Art the Clown delivering a chilling and unforgettable performance. I mean, we all know how brutal the Terrifier films are, but there are still moments in this movie that did shock me, and I know it shocked a lot of people around the world. And I'm not just talking about that, infamous shower scene. Terrifier 3 is just one of those films that it just ticked all of the right boxes for hardcore horror fans, and they're not an easy bunch to please. It was always going to be difficult to beat Terrifier 3 in this list today, and I, for one, I just cannot wait for Terrifier 4. And there you have it, guys, my top 10 favourite horror movies of 2024. I really hope that you enjoyed this list today and you found some new movies to add to your bucket list and watch list. Are there any horror films that you think I should have added or should have been on today's list instead of one of the other ones? If so, let me know. Let me know in the comments box below, and drop me your 2024 horror movies in the comments that you thought were amazing. Also, do not forget to like and subscribe for more horror content. Okay then, guys, thank you all for watching. Until next time, Happy New Year, but stay spooky.